up, y'all? It's your boy V-Bro once again out here today at Flight Tap and Table in Richland, Washington, part of the Tri-Town Get Down set of interviews we're doing for y'all. Here today we have
John Thomas in this bitch.
John Thomas, y'all. So we're going to get to know a little bit more about John Thomas today. So start us off with, man, like who you are in general, where are you from, all that good stuff.
Well, I go by the name of John motherfucking Thomas for everybody who doesn't know. Everybody calls me the King of Rage, so I guess that's kind of who I am now. I hail from a little city called Kent, Washington, over on the west side of the state, probably like 30 minutes from Seattle. And man, yeah, born and raised over there, so it's Kent boys for life.
Kent, so a small town. What got you into rapping, man? A small town, it's hard to really put your name out there sometimes, as you obviously know, and we're getting a little bit into that later, but what got you into the rap scene? What got you to stay consistent with it and all of that?
Well, actually, it was my homies in FML. So everybody sees like FML in my Instagram bio. That actually stands for Fine Malt Lyrics. So it was actually my homies Trey Ross and Web Wavy. And so they were rapping before I was even rapping. I was playing metal because I play the drums. That my first and foremost, like I'm a drummer. I play piano, guitar, and everything too. But first and foremost, I was playing drums in a band called Salem Knights. And what happened is they wanted to continue to play these big shows. And I wanted to go to college, actually. I wanted to get my education. So I went to Central to go get my education, and they kept on playing. So I was over there and kind of just, going through college stuff, like I needed an outlet. And so I had been kind of dabbling in rapping when I was in high school, freestyling here and there. But yeah, it was actually my guys, Trey Ross and Web Baby, that were like, bro, you need to actually take this seriously. Like, you need to actually start recording, start jotting down these ideas, because these freestyles aren't going to get you nowhere. So I remember I went through one particular situation when I was in college, and it just led me to record my first EP, and the rest is kind of history. I recorded Wonder Wheel and then dropped it as a single, and overnight it was getting thousands of plays. So I was like, okay, put out the rest of the EP, and then the rest is kind of history from there.
All right. So do you have anybody in general that you may say was a role model to you along the way that kind of you saw or looked up to, or you maybe got inspiration from?
Oh yeah, for sure. First and foremost, I'd probably say Kendrick Lamar, actually. It was Kendrick Lamar and, actually, believe it or not, Metallica. Those are like the band and I guess the rapper that really encouraged me to keep on going. I had a music teacher when I was in high school, and he told me that I was never going to be nothing and that I should stop playing music because I thought I was good and I wasn't and all this stuff. And it was kind of demoralizing, as like a 17-year-old kid getting told this, whereas music's been my thing my entire life. Dad's a musician. Mom always encouraged me to play music, been playing instruments since I was a little kid. So to get told that, it was very, very demoralizing. And so I almost put it all down. But then I started really diving into the early catalog of Kendrick and Metallica when I was in high school. And that's really what kept me going. So I would say those are the two artists that really inspired me the most as a musician to want to keep playing music. But I would say sonically Travis Scott for sure. Travis, if anybody listens to my music, you'll hear the resemblances, and I think the influence that Travis has played on my sound. And I'm not trying to copy him or nothing like that. I want to have my own distinct sound, but I definitely got to give credit where credit's due. So yeah, he was a big influence on my sound overall.
So you mentioned going to college. Yeah. There's a lot of people, a lot of kids out there going to college as well that are also artists or trying to, evolve their sound, all that. Is there something that you went through in college or a specific time or specific moment that you learned something from it that kind of helps you in your sound today or your songs today?
Yeah. The one thing that I would say is put yourself out there as much as possible. I got my start playing. At Central, we used to have open mic nights. And so the way that I would get my sound out there and let people know, hey, I'm a musician, I'm for real about this, is I would go to every single open mic night that I could. And I would play whatever music that I had, whatever song, debut different songs each week, play the same song sometimes. But eventually I started to get a small audience that wanted to hear me actually put these songs down and be like, when is that dropping? When is that dropping? Create a little buzz for yourself. So do anything that can get your name out there, especially if this is something that you're really passionate about. Write about the stuff that actually matters to you. You can rap about whatever the hell you want to. I'm not going to stop you. But if you have a particular situation that you don't know how to get past, write about it. You know, you going through a breakup, write about it. You got cheated on, write about it. Niggas got you fucked up in general, write about it. You know, just find every outlet that you can to keep on writing, keep progressing as an artist, and find every way that you can to get your name out there. That's the only way you're going to grow. And it can be, I'm not going to lie to you, it can be kind of uncomfortable doing so, but flowers don't bloom in a dark room. You got to really put yourself out there if you really want to flourish. So that's what I would say.
So on the topic of putting yourself out there, in today's world, there's so many different ways to put yourself out there. And being a creative, I know it's almost like you want to focus on being a creative, right? How do you balance having to put your name in so many different platforms or content or whatever it may be, while also, you know, having that creative side of stuff that you actually want to put out?
I would say definitely try everything. Try as much stuff as you can in order to try all the avenues to get your name out there. Find what works, stick with that. But if there's one particular avenue that really you enjoy doing, keep doing that avenue too. You don't have to be one-dimensional. There's a good reason that there's so many avenues to navigate and so many ways to get your name out there. It's because it's because you don't have to stick to one. For example, a lot of people find a lot of success promoting via TikTok, you know, and that works for a lot of people. And that's what they're passionate about. So they keep doing that. But they might also like playing live. So they play live a lot just because not necessarily only to capture that audience, but also just because it's something they enjoy doing. For me, I found a lot of my success playing live. So that's what I continue to do. And I just did it over and over and over and over and over again. And that's why I ended up getting booked as much as I did, because I was playing live and putting myself out there in that avenue. I mean, I also do a lot of marketing online because you have to. We live in a digital era. It's very important. It's imperative, in fact. You literally cannot make it unless you're putting yourself out there online at this point. I mean, I guess it is technically possible, but slim chance. So I would say try every avenue, find what works. And if there's one avenue that you particularly seem to enjoy, just keep doing that because you're passionate about it. Music is something that is very derivative off of passion. And that's something that I very much believe in. And so that's why I keep doing it. And that's why I keep playing live, because that's something I'm passionate about, something that I care about. I enjoy it more than the social media marketing. It's my favorite part. Playing live is my favorite part. So
you mentioned you're from a small town or a smaller city, you know, in comparison to Seattle or Portland, stuff like that. And it's obviously a challenge to get out there, you know, in this world, hip hop and just in general, really any genre. Can you talk a little bit about certain hurdles you've had to kind of overcome because you're from a smaller city? And what are the kind of things that you do to kind of put your name and get your name out to a broader audience?
Well, yeah, that's a good, I'm glad that you asked that, actually. The city that I'm from, it gets a lot of hate. Like, Kent gets kind of a bad rap for all the stuff that goes on there. And one of the things that I really had to overcome is, like, I feel like a lot of artists, when they're from a particular city in Washington, a lot of the time they'll just say that they're from Seattle. And a lot of them say that because I feel like some of them might be embarrassed to be where they're from and they just want to represent the greater area. I've always been somebody that's very passionate about where I come from. I mean, I wouldn't be who I was if I wasn't from where I'm from. So, you know, I got the respect, you know, and I definitely say one of the hurdles was that challenge of saying, oh, I'm an artist from Kent. You know, when media outlets post me and they say things like Seattle artist, I'm quick to correct them and say, I'm not from Seattle, I'm from Kent. This is where I'm from. With all due respect, like, I want to be known from being where I'm from. And that's no disrespect to any Seattle artist. That's no disrespect to anybody that says they want to be from Seattle, you know? But I just find it more authentic of myself to promote where I'm actually from and shed some light on where I'm actually from, because there's a lot of talent that's there as well. So that's definitely been the biggest challenge. And the way that I've kind of overcome it is by just continuously saying, like, pushing, no, I'm from Kent, continuing to do what I'm doing and try to be as, you know, as inspirational, as positive, and just be the best musician that I can be from where I'm from. I can't change where I'm from. You know, that's just how my cards were dealt. And that's just the way that I'm going to continue pushing. You know, it's the only thing that I can do. I'm not going to say that I'm from somewhere I'm not just to get away from where I'm from. So I will always, Kent's always at my heart. It's big KB4L forever. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. You truly are proud of where you're from. You see it in your music, you know, your performances, how you're talking right now. You can totally tell you're proud of where you're from. Is there any collaborations that you've had with other Pacific Northwest artists that you would say one of your favorite ones, or maybe your favorite, or you just really enjoyed working with another Pacific Northwest artist? Here at Pacific Northwest Bangerz, we really like to showcase, you know, Northwest artists all around the area. So is there anybody in particular that you've maybe collaborated with that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, like I think this would be a good time to really shed light. There's a lot of people, you know, I've kind of shied away from collaboration in the grander scheme of things because I've been so focused on my own music, but there's a lot of them. A lot of them are actually Kent artists. So artists like YT Sons, I have a song called Hindsight with them. That's one of my favorites. You know, everything that I've done with Cardigan, my Inner Peace EP, that wouldn't have been able to be possible without him. And he's an artist as well. So it's important to highlight the fact that he's both producing and he's rapping. That's so dope. Not a lot of people do that. You know, Kid Cambo, that's another one of my close collaborators. That's my Rage brother right there. So just the greater Kent boys, like it's really a collective. Like it is a collective, but that's also like family. So I just want to make sure that I'm shedding light on my people. I mean, I have a lot of friends that I met along the way. But yeah, those would probably be the ones. Oh, Villy as well. He's another one from Kent. So mostly the Kent boys, for real. With that being said, I am looking to branch out and work with more artists locally, as long as it makes sense sonically. If it's something that I can see myself on, I'd definitely collaborate with a lot of people in the area. Just time, right place, right sound. So if I find something that I like, I'll gladly hop on it. So I've had a couple of people locally actually hit me up, and I've like heard the stuff and I'm like, yeah, I totally get on it. So trying to iron some stuff down. I don't want to speak too much about it just because it's not ironed in stone and I don't want to let anybody down, but there is definitely some stuff down the pipeline that I'm really excited for, and I'm hoping to actually we can get it right and get it recorded. So
awesome. So talking about the sound and the rage, talk to us a little bit about your process of creating a song. Where does it really kind of start? Do you have to be in the studio? Is it normally when you're just chilling at home, or how does a song really come about for you?
So every song that I make is actually based off of personal life events. Like, I'm not an artist that can just sit down and write. It really has to come to me. It really has to make me feel a certain type of way. I have to be in a certain mindset to write. I'm not somebody that can just get my notes out and just start typing away. So a lot of the songs that I create are either based off personal events, based off an emotion I feel from hearing a particular beat, or they just pop up off of random lines that I freestyle in my head, because before I was actually writing stuff down, I was freestyling all the time. So that's something that I try to practice all the time, whether it's out loud, whether it's just in my head when I'm just walking around the crib, whatever it is. But so a lot of it is really based solely off of emotion and the feelings that I'm feeling at a particular time, based off my surroundings, really, based off the events that are occurring in my life. Yeah, that's really what my process is. But a lot of it starts off as freestyles. A lot of it will start as just a beat that makes me feel a certain type of way that I'll start freestyling and then write over the freestyles. But rarely ever will I just pull out a pen and paper just to write. It has to be based off something that's happened to me, because I feel like that's the most authentic way for me to really let everybody know what's going on with me and keep up to date with John Thomas, is just by being authentic and just keeping it 100 at all times. That's how Inner Peace came to be. That's how Life of an Oddball came to be. That's how all the future stuff that's going to come out is going to come out, and how it's going to be. So yeah, I just feel like I'm my most authentic self when I'm rapping about something that's actually happened to me. So,
and definitely ready to perform today. You are. Tell us a little bit about the process that got you here today. You haven't performed, I believe, in 6 months. So you definitely are excited. Talking to you earlier, you're excited to perform. But talk to us a little bit of what got you here today.
Well, see, the reason I've been gone, a lot of people don't know. I mean, if you keep up with me, then you'll know what's been going on. But yeah, I don't think it's really going to be too much of a surprise. The reason I was gone was actually because I had polyps on my vocal cords and a lot of swelling on my vocal cords as well, which in Pitch Perfect terms, I had nodes. I don't know if anybody's seen that movie, but yeah, I had nodes. And so what that looked like for the last 6 months was couldn't sing, I couldn't perform. I wrote a little bit, but it's really just been me kind of living life the last couple months and really getting back to enjoying day-to-day life and kind of getting away for a little bit, which it was nice. It was nice, but I will definitely say I was definitely busy. I had to go through vocal rehab, which I'm still in, that I'll be doing throughout the summer. I got a vocal coach, so, because a lot of the stuff that actually occurred, the reason was like the rigorous playing of shows. I was basically playing shows what seemed like multiple times a month, almost every single month for a year and a half. And that just really, with improper singing technique, just because I had never been really one-on-one trained. I was in choir when I was in church as a kid, so, but once my voice changed, I kind of stopped singing. So basically just off the technique that I knew, which was very beginner level technique. You know, I was smoking weed. I love my Sunday driver. That's not gonna be a surprise to anybody. And I was drinking my Rage juice after every show. So when you mix improper singing technique with immediately smoking, with immediately drinking like vodka pineapple lemonades right after you get off stage, not warming down my voice, you know, not doing proper singing warm-ups, not drinking enough water, you know, not properly taking care of my instrument. And I paid for it. And so that's definitely something I hope that a lot of artists that are passionate about what they do and are taking what they do serious, like, your voice is an instrument. You got to take care of that instrument. If you don't keep your guitar, your drum set in tune, it's going to sound like shit, you know? It's not going to perform at the highest level that it possibly can if it's in tune. So it's best to take care of your voice. You can still have fun, but you just got to be smart about it. You got to be, your craft always comes first, and you should be having fun doing your craft. You're always going to be having fun if you're enjoying your craft. So craft first, focus on business, have fun for sure, but just be careful and do it the smart way. But yeah, it's been a lot of really hard work. Thankful that I didn't have to get any surgery to get the nodes removed, but I had my checkup recently. I got cleared from all my doctors, so still a little bit of the nodes are still kind of there, and there's still a little bit of swelling, but we should be back to normal by the summer, if not a little bit better, because I have vocal lessons now. So quite the journey, but it's been worth it, and it feels good to be back. I'm ready to race tonight for sure.
And was it at the point that, you know, this whole thing happened that you had to go to rehab, that you were like, oh, you're supposed to be taking care of your voice. There's certain like methods and things you have to do. Like, was it up until then that you knew that's type of stuff that you had to treat it like an instrument, that you're like, wait, what is that happening? Or did you kind of already know and kind of more ignored it? Because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are maybe just don't know about that type of stuff. You know, it's just like they just do what they do, but they don't know that there's certain practices or things you have to do to really perform to the max, you know?
It's definitely something that I had always known about, because, you know, I've been playing instruments my whole life, and I've known that my voice is an instrument the entire time. So, I mean, I guess I have to take responsibility and accountability for my own actions in that sense. Like, I lost my voice because I wasn't doing what I knew I should have been doing. With that being said, I also don't feel like I had the proper guidance in order for me to know exactly what to do in that situation, or how to properly take care of my voice. Because you can go on YouTube, you can learn a lot from YouTube, right? But not everybody is the same. So what might work for one person or what might work for a group of people might not work for me. And that's actually something that I've learned in like my vocal therapy and singing lessons, is that, you know, there's a lot of very informative information that's on the internet, and it can be a great tool, but you need to get a good foundation first. And it's best to work with somebody to help you find what your individual needs are as a vocalist. And it's going to be the same way whether you're playing an instrument, singing, it doesn't matter. What techniques might work for one person might not work for you. So it's been nice to actually have the guidance. But yeah, I got to take accountability and say it was my fuck up. That was my fault. Like, I should have known better. I should have been doing what I was supposed to be, like, So it is what it is. We're here now. I'm glad to be back. And so good learning lesson. And going back to being as positive I can be, I hope people learn from my mistakes so they don't get no's too, because that shit sucks. I'll tell you that much. I definitely wouldn't wish that shit on nobody else because that shit was not it. But yeah, we're back. So
I feel that, man. And I appreciate the honesty. I feel like there's a lot of viewers out there that just don't quite understand. They're young. They're just in the flow. It's just like that young energy. And I feel like listening to that really kind of, hey, you never know. It might click on somebody's bubble there and just understand that they need to change it up a little bit. You mentioned that you had to kind of take some time off, obviously, to get better. But you also said that it was kind of a good thing. Yeah. What was good about it that you had to, stick? Because a lot of people, it's like when I'm away from my passion, like, that's depressing, like if I'm a DJ myself, it's like if I had to step away from DJing for a while, like I'd kind of feel like a little low. Like, so you mentioned it was a good thing in a way. So what about it was good?
I would definitely say it was a good thing because I was back to back for a year straight. I mean, you guys have been following me the whole time, like you guys have been consistently keeping up with me, like one of the media pages that's actively been like helping me promote my stuff, just organically off love. And I appreciate that. So you guys have known, like, I have been working nonstop for a year and a half, no breaks at all, just back to back, show here, show there, out of state, in state, festival, show, dropping a project, recording. And so after you're at it for so long, I don't want to say you lose motivation, but you definitely, I had writer's block. To keep it simple, I had writer's block after Inner Peace dropped. I didn't know what else I was going to talk about because I felt like I was still kind of processing all the stuff that happened on that EP alone. So I felt like I needed time off, not only to recover my voice, but I needed time to kind of live life so I actually have something to talk about again. I feel like a lot of artists run into that where it's like they will come out and put out some bullshit because they feel like they need to drop, which in a sense is true, because if you're gone for too long, people might lose interest unless you have like a diehard fan base. But getting to that point is really hard. So, but I think you have to find a happy balance of actually living your life. So you have something you have actual content to talk about. You have actual situations to base your songs off of. And that's kind of something that I was on, is like, I really needed to take some time away to both heal physically and mentally, and really figure out who like I was as a person, not just John Thomas, but like who JD was as a person. And so, I mean, I think that'll really be reflected in the next couple of projects, actually, which are on the way, by the way. I'll tell you guys right now, next project is going to be called Rage and Blues. So the follow-up EP to Inner Peace, I've already started writing it. It's called Rage and Blues. It's going to be similar to Inner Peace, but a little bit different. And I'm really excited to share it with y'all, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it, especially for all those that enjoyed Inner Peace. So it was definitely a needed break because it gave me time to really like soak in and like come to terms with myself again. And it was tough, like you said, being away from your craft is not easy, especially when you're as passionate as I am about doing stuff like performing and sharing my vision with other people. So it's been kind of tough to be silent because, as you can tell right now, I'm a talker. So, but it was needed to kind of take a step back and reevaluate, let everybody else cook while I cook in silence. So it's cool.
So when you took that step back, were you engaging with your audience at all in any way, shape, or forms, whether it was through stories or whatever you were posting online? Do you think it's still important to still engage even though you're taking that time away? Or is it more like, if you're going to take the time away, take the time away? How did that balance for you in that case?
Like I said, for me personally, I try to stay as engaged with my audience as possible just because I'm very hands-on. Staying away from my craft is something that's very hard for me to do. So I felt that it was best for me as an artist to stay connected with my fans, keep them up to date with what was going on. I'm not somebody that's going to try to keep my supporters in the dark. Like if I'm not dropping music, I want to let you guys know why. And the reason I wasn't was because I had a vocal injury. So I physically could not. I couldn't. So I wanted to stay as engaged with everybody as I possibly could. Now, with that being said, going back to what I said about, the things that you might learn on the internet, just because staying engaged with my audience worked for me doesn't mean that you have to. If you are creative and you're going through something and you feel like you need to take a step back and you just need to disassociate with social media, I think it's completely healthy to do so. I mean, there's going to be a gamble of you might lose some people, but I feel like if your audience is really rocking with you and they're really your fans, they'd understand. Like, you're going through something, you need to take that break. So you need to do what's best for you as an artist, and staying connected. That just happened to be work best for me, but that might not work best with everybody. So I understand that. So different strokes for different folks.
So you mentioned balance. Now that you're back, you're doing more music, you're writing. What are some of the things that you do to keep your life balanced? Is it going to the gym? Is it, just chilling with family? How do you balance life and then creativity now that you're back?
I think definitely now I will focus a lot more time, because I've been able to spend more time with my family. I've been able to spend a little bit more time with my friends. I've had more time to go to the gym, which is something that has been like the constant the entire time. Is one thing about me is I'm gonna go to the gym. Like, I was a wrestler in college. I was a wrestler in high school. Like, I like to keep up with my training. It's just the work ethic that's kind of instilled in me, that's been instilled in me the whole time. If I'm not going to sit around and do absolutely nothing. If one thing, I'm going to stay in shape physically. So, yeah. So I'd say the gym is a big one. Spending time with family. Definitely, if I'm in a writer's block, I'll go out and just do stuff. I'll just like I said, I'm not even going to pick up the pen if I don't feel like I got nothing to write about. So just have a balance of going out to actually live life and enjoy the time that I have, off the stage too. Like, it's very important because a lot of people get burnt out, and I'll admit it, I was a little bit burnt out, but I just kept on going because I thought that's the expectation that was of me, but I had to do what's best for myself. So I think that's important for every artist. You need to take a step back, and just enjoy your life. So I think that's what it is going to be for me. Like, I think I've built up my reputation enough, at least in state, to where it's like, I don't have to play a million bazillion shows anymore. Like, I can pick and choose where I want to play, and just focus more on living my life so I can write more music and then tour that music appropriately.
So talking about shows, after here, do you have anything coming up that you'd like our audience to know about? Or is just, you said you pick and choose, so is it going to be more of a relaxed, like, I really don't know what's going on, or do you have something set up?
This year, I think I'm going to spend more time in the studio. I really want to get these projects out to you guys, and there's more than one. I mean, Rage and Blues is definitely my number one priority on my list, just because the Inner Peace Saga, what I call it, that's this like the passion projects, and I think they're my deepest, most meaningful projects to me because they tell the story of my real life. With that being said, like, I'm gonna do something to keep like everybody entertained. So you guys will get little projects sprinkled in there, and singles sprinkled in there, maybe a music video here and there, leading up to Rage and Blues. So don't think that I'm just gonna leave y'all hanging again. You guys will get something. But as for performing live, I wanted to keep it kind of light this year. Really focus on rehabbing my voice. Really focusing on, being a more confident singer, being a stronger singer. I feel like I've been okay the last few years, and I've been good enough, but I don't want to be good enough anymore. I want to be great. And the way you become great is by practice, persistence. So that's what I'm focused on, is really just becoming the best musician that I can be again and taking it to a whole nother level. But mostly also recording. So if there's a show that I think makes sense for me, I'll gladly take it. And if it's somebody that, I feel like has shown me love, like throughout the years, of course, that's just, that's love. So I'll do it off passion, but I don't feel like I need to necessarily get back to playing live super consistently. At least not yet. I will, because that's what I'm passionate about, but still got a couple steps to go.
So talking about branching out, doing other things, we recently saw that a while back you were at Kazumi's birthday party. Yeah. She also has came over to the Washington area, right? Yeah. How in the world did that happen, bro? Tell us a little story about that, how that, relationship came to be, and whatever you'd like to tell us about that.
Yeah, so Basically, everything that I said in the Kazumi, If We Fuck Tell Your Friends song, that's what that stands for, by the way. For anybody who doesn't know, IWTYF stands for If We Fuck Tell Your Friends, just in case anybody was wondering. But, so, the way that song, that we ended up meeting at all was simply because I wore the merch on, I was playing a show with Autumn. And it was like me, Autumn, Highway, Ill Chris. And I wore the Kazumi shirt just because I thought it was a hard shirt, so I was like, cool, this shirt's dope, it goes with my fit, I'm gonna wear it. And she ended up seeing it somehow, and then she was just like, okay, you got my attention. And from there, like, I went out to a birthday party, cool people, we've been friends ever since, we've been cool ever since. So yeah, like, that's literally how it happened to be. I literally wore a t-shirt, she was like, oh, what's up? And she was like, come to my birthday. I was like, all right, cool. And the rest is kind of history. We've been friends. We made the song and just been cool ever since. Like, good people.
So just like that, a T-shirt.
Yeah.
The internet, man, that's crazy. So just to make things a little more fun here, got a random question for you. There's an alien apocalypse going on, right? You could only survive it with 3 other rappers. What rappers are you choosing to survive that with?
Daylight, because I feel like he might actually be an alien himself. That's tough. Do I even need anybody else?
Yeah, okay.
Do I really even? Shoot. You said aliens, right?
Alien apocalypse.
Lil Uzi, because he might be able to talk to them. I seen the Eternal Atake album cover. He might be an alien as well. And whoever that one nigga that said that he was like an android or something, he said he was a clone. He might blend in. I don't even remember what his name was.
Whoever that was, if you were that dude that, you're cloning, he needs you to survive the apocalypse. Gucci Mane, if it was Gucci Mane, whoever was the clone, he needs you for the apocalypse.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we'll say Gucci Mane. We'll say Gucci Mane.
All right, okay, Gucci Mane, there you go. And lastly, the most important question of all, in these sort of questions, Drake or Kendrick, why?
Man, okay. Before I say anything, I just want everybody to know, like, I'm a big Drake fan. I'm a big Kendrick fan. Like, those are 2 huge influences in my life. Those are 2 huge influences on my sound. So, no disrespect to anybody. I think they both went up there and kind of did their thing. But personally, I was rocking more with what Kendrick had to say. I think that Drake put out some good songs in that whole beef, but I just felt like from a war standpoint, that wasn't even a rap beef. That was war. And I feel like from a war standpoint, Kendrick dropped more nukes. And I think he said more stuff that did more substantial damage. With that being said, I think, like I said, I thought Family Matters was a hard song. I thought Drake did his thing on that. So, but I got to say, overall, I'm rocking with Kendrick a little bit more. But
Well, there you go. Kendrick Lamar for the beef between the Drake and Kendrick. Well, thank you very much, John.
Absolutely.
For the people at home, where can they find you? Where could they easily access your music? All that good stuff.
Music available on all platforms, all major platforms. You can find me on all social media at FML John Thomas. Yeah, stay raging, everybody. Ready to rage again tonight.
We're excited to see you, man. Thanks for having me.